And India is a majorly whiskey drinking country. We all know that.
Come on, Krishna. We are drinking coffee early in the morning.
Yeah, well, I'm having tea in this mug for all those watching. But what has actually happened here is that, Kartik, Indian single malts are now outselling their Scotch counterparts. That's right. The Indian single malts, I'm sure many of you know these names: Amrut, Amrut Fusion, which is an Indian single malt; Amrut Amalgam, which is an Indian single malt. Can you believe it, Kartik? Amrut Fusion and Amrut Amalgam sell more than Glenfiddich 12-year-olds and Glenlivet 12-year-olds in this country. And to help us understand what is going on over here, how are Indian malts beating Scotch whiskies, we have none other than Mr. Ashish Kapur, founder of Whisky Samba and one of the most famous restaurateurs in this country, joining us live on this broadcast. In fact, he's busy setting up the brand new Whisky Samba in Hyderabad. Ashish, all the best with that. The pictures look absolutely fantastic, as good as the iconic Whisky Samba in Gurugram. But tell us what is going on over here. Amrut Fusion and Amrut Amalgam selling more than Glenfiddich and Glenlivet?
I love this discussion early morning. I can have it all day. But, I think yes, it's very exciting time for Indian malts, Indian whiskies, and I think for good reason, because the product is really speaking for itself. Let's first talk about the product and then talk about the validation. But if you look at, you talked about Amrut Fusion. Now, Amrut Fusion as a product, the barley, which is what the source of malt is, they get their barley from India as well as original peated barley from Scotland. So there's no compromise when it talks about genuinely peated. Similarly, if you look at another whiskey, say Indri, now they're barrel aging their whiskey in 3 different casks, which are completely unique in terms of a bourbon cask, in terms of an ex-French wine, and also a Pedro Jimenez sherry. So, the whiskey makers, the malt makers in India today are putting their heart, soul, money, and efforts into really creating a great product. And because of that, the international validation is streaming in. So if you take Amrut's case, Jim Murray, who's one of the world's most known whiskey connoisseurs, gave it 97.5 points on the Whiskey Bible. Similarly, the other malts have been winning world's best whiskey awards, in fact, as recently as 22. So it's really a proud moment for Indian whiskey on the global stage.
Many people would be interested to know what that Whiskey Bible is all about. Ashish keeps talking about it. People should Google the Whiskey Bible, because there's a rating for whiskeys across the world. That's what the Whiskey Bible has. But here is the deal. I checked the prices, Ashish. Me and Kartik are wondering how this is happening. A bottle of 12-year-old Glenfiddich, Glenlivet and Amrut Fusion are roughly the same cost. They are 5,000 rupees a bottle. So how much of this is a function of pricing and distribution per se for Indian whiskies?
See, as you know, any international trade on liquor, so be it wine or whiskey, attracts a large import duty. Whereas the local made alcohol will obviously pay the local excise, but there is no import duty as such. So I think to encourage the entire homegrown industry, and this is across beverages, be it wine or whiskey or gin, the Indians have been able to create a great product, may not have that much kind of money on marketing spends, but they've been able to create a great product and price it at par with global competitors. So it does matter. Pricing is a critical strategy in this, because entry-level trials only happen for a great product if it's priced decently.
Right. Kartik?
Hi, Ashish. Good morning. Nice to have you with us. Just help me understand from a consumer's perspective. You have thousands of people visiting your restaurants across the country on a daily, weekly basis. Do you really see that uptick in order placing for Indian-made liquor, Indian single malts, as much as, let's say, the global liquors? Do people come and really place orders at your restaurants for these Indian brands as much?
I think that's a great question, and I'll tell you what's happening on the floor at restaurants. And this is across restaurants, but I can give you a reflection of what's happening at ours. I think till 5-6 years back, bars used to hide behind, the IMFL tag, so as to say, and really put it lower down on the menu. Today, with pride, we are calling it Indian craft whiskies. We are calling it Indian single malts. We're calling it Indian artisanal whiskies. We're giving it pride of place on the menu. We're giving it bottle space. And it's a shocker because not because the restaurants are doing it out of any pure heart for Indian whiskies, but also because the consumer is coming and demanding for these whiskies, and sales are going through the roof. These are consumers who can afford the finest of foreign malts, and they're coming in saying, "We want to try great Indian artisanal single malt." And I think the key word here is that gone are the days where we are trying to mimic a Western single malt. So it's no longer an IMFL. It is genuinely artisanal. It's genuinely creative and luxury as a product. So I think that's spoken for itself. And yes, it is selling. It's selling very, very well. And the innovation in the space, if you see, like I'm talking about the different barrels, I'm talking about the different kinds of barley, there's a lot of innovation. So there's no aping another malt.
Okay, original made in India whiskies, which are finding great traction among the classic Indian whiskey lovers who traditionally loved scotch. They said whiskey means scotch, scotch means whiskey, and they're the ones going to Ashish Kapur's Whisky Samba and asking for Amrut fusions these days. Ashish, you were saying something. Last word from you and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, the Godawan, which is again an Indian single malt out of Rajasthan, recently launched, not in India, but at Cannes. So you can imagine an Indian whiskey launching on the red carpet just shows you the international appeal for the genuine whiskey.
Right. International appeal. Indians are taking to it not long before the international markets take to Indian whiskies. Here's fingers crossed for that. Ashish Kapur, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on Business Plus on News 9 Live this morning. Wishing you all the best with the Whisky Samba in Hyderabad. Wishing you all the success with that. Thank you so much for being with us. And with that, we have completely run out of time here on this show. Kartik, lovely being with you on the show. It's a wrap here from my side. This is Krishnakumar signing off. Keep it with News 9 Live.